Hi, welcome to Live from the Pink Couch. I'm Cheryl Grace, and I am pleased to have three individuals who have agreed to be coached live from the Pink Couch. And we don't have the Pink Couch with us because it's in another location while I am on vacation. But we have three professionals who have agreed to be coached live to find out how they can bring their professional dreams to life. We're going to start by introducing each person, and I'm going to share what it is that they are looking for. So first of all, we have Darissa, our lone star, and Darissa has created an app. Yes, she has, called CosMusic. And for her Pink Elephant goal is to get this app live and paid for through venture capitalists and investors so that she can bring her app to life to those of us who would like to be guided by our zodiac signs. We also have with us Fatia, the hopeful. Fatia has a MBA and she was laid off during COVID and is looking to get back into the corporate world. Her Pink Elephant goal is to land a job that is aligned with research and data and doing data analytics, making 100 and how much?
85 to 100.
$85,000 to $100,000 a year. And last but not least, we have Ryan, and Ryan is the newbie. Ryan has just graduated from college in December of 2020. Yeah, December of 2020, and he's looking to get his first job. He has landed an amazing internship, and he's going to tell us all about it. Ryan's job quest is to land a role as an analyst at a bulge bracket investment firm. And so we're going to help him get that job. So say hello to our three remaining individuals who have agreed to be coached. We started with 5 individuals, and the good thing about this particular show is that when you achieve your Pink Elephant goal, and your Pink Elephant goal is your biggest, most audacious goal that you're hoping to achieve, and you have to break it into teeny tiny small bites, and you have to lean into faith, and you also need to get a bit of help. And so that's what we're doing here on Live from the Pink Couch is we're offering all of our professionals an opportunity to be mentored and coached and receive a little bit of assistance. And we started with 5. Once you achieve your goal, and we all know it's a good thing to achieve your goal. Once you achieve your goal, you get out of the tribe. You get booted out of the hashtag next level tribe because you get to go up to your next level. So we've booted 2 individuals. We've booted Quanisha, who was our rising star, who wanted to get promoted and to be making more than $100,000 a year. She got her goal. She achieved her goal. And we also had our Career 2.0 mentee, Therese. And Therese wanted to start her own business, which she had, but she wanted to have at least 10 clients and making at least $10,000 within a 3-month period. And she did it. She achieved that goal. So woohoo, we've got 2 people booted out of the tribe. Now we're trying to get the remaining 3 booted as well. And we've got, I think, 6 weeks left to do so. So what we're going to do on this episode is to figure out what our professionals need help with the most, see if we can get some additional counseling or coaching in for them. Fatia, we still have to get you with your coach. I've been working with you a little bit closer, but we're going to get you with a coach outside of this. But let's hear from you, Fatia. What do you need? What's happening? What's been going on since our last episode?
Yeah, thank you so much, Cheryl. So since our last episode, a little bit of change has happened. So I think between the last episode and this episode, everybody went on vacation. So around July 4th up until the beginning of this week, people were back from, I guess, the July vacation period. So the great news is I spoke with someone on my list that I mentioned before that I did not get the second round. She is another person that I indicated within the same company, and she referred me to 4 jobs on Friday. So that was really great. And I have my notes here, which is why I'm looking over. In addition to that, she's also identified 1 to 2 individuals for me to speak with. And then another person on my list also is going to, through their internal portal, recommend me to 2 other positions. So I've been getting a lot of referrals, which is great. I'm still doing all the right things. I'm still talking to people. I think this July period was a little bit slower than the rest of the period because everybody seemed like they were on vacation. I think right now is I'm really trying to get the feedback loop with those individuals. So if you have any tips or suggestions on, let's say I had a lead, but it turned cold because there was no feedback after our first communication. So I'm trying to now close the gap because I spoke to an individual, they have not said what they were going to set out to do for me. So I'm trying to get them to send me those introductions. I've sent maybe 2 or 3 messages. I don't want to be a pest because I know they're also busy, but I'm just trying to figure out how can I resurrect those folks that I spoke with before the holiday season to try and get them to respond.
Wonderful. So Fatia, first of all, let me share with people who may be watching us for the first time. One of the challenges that you had early on was to create a list of at least 10 companies that you ideally would like to work for, correct?
Yes.
And then to go in and begin networking primarily through LinkedIn. I'm sorry. And to go through, I don't know, but like, I think my brain's on vacation right now. I'm sorry. But to go through LinkedIn and identify individuals who are at those companies that you could network with. And so what you're saying is that you reached out to some of those individuals, you've had conversations with them, and during those conversations, they agreed to introduce you to 3 additional folks or additional people, maybe not 3, but additional people, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So Cheryl's pink couch tip is if you are looking for a job, make a list of 10 companies and identify individuals within that company and reach out to those individuals. And once you've talked to them, ask them to refer you to 3 additional people. This keeps the rotation going so that you, in theory, never run out of individuals that you can reach out to. But it seems as if what I'm hearing, Fatia, is you've hit a bit of a hurdle because July, and this is another pink couch tip from Cheryl, is the summer months sometimes get a little slow. Don't get discouraged. Do not get discouraged. When people come back to life, they do come back and they do try to honor things because they feel bad that they let the ball drop. So what I want you to do is we're going into, the final vacation. A lot of people disappear during the summer months. A lot of people disappear, especially out east. I don't know if it's an out east thing, but just something you should be aware of during the month of August. A lot of people disappear during the month of August as well. So if you're looking for a job during the summer months, just be cognizant of the fact it's not you. It's not you, it's the timing. So when you have a chance, Fatia, next week, go back in. And another way to determine whether anybody's like on vacation or active is just to see if they posted or even liked or commented on anyone else's post on LinkedIn. Because that way you'll at least see if they're floating around out there. But send out another one. And when you send out a reminder email to individuals, don't say, hey, this is my 15th email to you. and I have not heard from you, and I don't appreciate it. And I know that you would not do that, Fatia, but sometimes, you know, you want to read people because it's like, hey, you told me you were going to do this. They may have the best of intentions, and as you said, Fatia, they may just get busy, and that's okay. So what you want to do is just send out a nice email that says, not that I've contacted you 4, 5, 6, 10, 25 times before about this, honey. No, what you want to just say is, just following up, would love to have you make the introduction between me and whoever they said they were going to introduce you to, or whatever they said they were going to do. Act as if it's the first time you're sending it. Just act as if it's the first time. And that way it doesn't make them feel chagrined, or they won't feel chagrined that they didn't. All right, how do you feel about that?
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. I know I did do some research, and as you mentioned, the summer months are typically a little bit slower because people are going on vacation or just checking out. So I also joined, or am going to join, a organization of MBAs within my city because they have a career conference coming up, and it's actually in Chicago this year. I will be joining digitally, but one of the women I spoke to at one of my companies suggested that I should start sending out my resumes within that job portal because I already signed up to join the career conference. So that's another way I'm trying to kind of close that gap between now and September.
You've been very, very busy, Fatia. You always allude to the research that you've been doing, so you've been really great. So are you also a member of the National Black MBA Association?
Oh, yes, that's what I was mentioning. Yeah, so I am going to be a member this month. So I spoke with the membership chair also on Friday. So she said she'll reach out to her president. It is a slow season for them as well. So a lot of people are out or on vacation, but she did let me know she'll follow up with me when she hears back from the president. So yeah, that is the conference that I will be joining.
Wonderful, wonderful. Networking isn't just exclusive to LinkedIn. Networking is also inclusive of anybody that you know. Anybody and everyone that you know, just let them know that you're looking for a position, because you never know who they know. I'm talking about your hairstylist. I'm talking about your barber. I'm talking about your granny. You never know who granny knows. You might be surprised. So tell everybody that you're looking for a job. And then what you're doing, Fatia, is also a great thing, which is joining some of these professional associations. If you get involved in your local chapter, ask if there are any opportunities to volunteer. When you volunteer, you get a glance of the roster of other people who are also members, but you get to work perhaps alongside with the organizers of these events, or the administrative individuals who are leading the organizations. You get a chance to kind of rub elbows with them. They see a little bit more of your personality. They see what you're made of. And so it would be a good opportunity for you to see if you can volunteer to help with any conferences, to do, like, be in charge of membership, whatever. Just ask if they are in need of any volunteers.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I know you and I are still trying to meet. I just talked to my assistant, and she said she's going to make it happen this week.
Awesome. Great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, but you're doing a great job. This is the other thing I want to say. I know it can get very, very discouraging when you're looking for a job and month after month after month goes by. Do not get discouraged. In theory, what I've seen is that they predict that for every $10,000 of salary that you'd like to earn, you should multiply that by 1 month. So if you're looking at, making 85,000, then that's 8.5 months. If you're looking at, 100,000, that's at least 10 months. That's just kind of a guidepost. It may not always happen that way, but on average, just keep that in mind as you all are looking for jobs, okay? but you have to stay in action. Don't get discouraged. And the other way to look at this is like, wow, that was a really great job and I didn't get it. So the universe, it must be planning a bodacious job for me. And that's the way you should look at it.
Yeah, that's
Stay positive.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Ryan started an internship and he has been working with an investment banking firm. And he is going to, first of all, tell us his experience and whether it's living up to his expectations. And then secondly, we're going to hear what if he's been able to do anything during his internship to kind of keep his dream of landing a solid role, solid role in as an analyst, and whether or not we're going to be booting him out of the tribe soon. So Ryan, tell me everything. What's going on?
So the coolest thing that's happened since the last time I saw you was so we had to, as part of like an intern project, we had to pitch like a subsector or industry to like for our firm to invest in. And I picked canine genetic testing and like the little home kits, kind of like the 23andMe for dogs. And I convinced them to invest in the latest round for that company. So that was like really huge because I was the only intern that got their company picked. So that's been really exciting. I got like a lot of praise from my my boss for it and stuff. And she actually wanted me to do it again. So right now I'm working on another project, which is why I was kind of late to the call time today. Yeah, it's been going really well though.
This is really great. So if I'm hearing you correctly, you and the other interns had an assignment and you hit your out of the ballpark, right? Yeah. And they actually chose the company that you recommended.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. Fabulous. Fabulous, Ryan. So on your resume, that's an accomplishment-based item that should be included on your resume. So, and we've talked about this before, but I think it's worth repeating for people who are just joining us for the first time. When you're writing your resume, don't make it just responsibility-based, make it accomplishment-based. This means that you not only tell what it is that you're responsible for doing, that's responsible based, but how well you did it. So Ryan, you were along with the other interns charged with the same responsibility. So all of you all could put that same bulleted item on your resume. That doesn't make you stand out. You all had the same thing, but you made the recommendation and yours was the sole recommendation selected out of, the other interns. So you need to write that up so it stands out. That's an accomplishment-based metric. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I was actually just asking my boss about how do I put that on my resume, and we have a meeting on Wednesday about how she wants me to say it.
Great. Yes. I love that. But making sure that anything, this is a Cheryl's Pink Couch tip, any accomplishment that you have achieved, first of all, I want you all, and I think I've said this before, but I want you all to be keeping an I've done good file folder. And within that file folder, you should be just saving, putting away any accomplishments or anything that you've done really well that someone has commented on or that it sets you head and shoulders above the rest. So this is an example of that. And you want to keep this file folder always because you don't want to find yourself scrambling to remember, I know I did some great work while I was an intern and I know I did. So while it happens in real time, it can be an electronic file folder, or it can be a physical file folder where you just print out whenever they let you know, hey, Ryan, we've decided that your recommendation was the one we're going to actually move forward on. Print it out and date it. Make sure it's dated so that you can, in chronological order, keep track of all of the great accomplishments that you're getting. That makes sense?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Have you had any chance to do any job hunting since you've been doing the internship?
Yeah, actually, I've been really busy and I haven't had much time, but I did get a little break last week to network a little bit and So I applied for 3 positions at Citigroup, which I got a referral from. So I applied to those. And this week I won't have much time because it's my last week of my internship, and I'm doing a lot right now. So after this week, I'll be completely free again, and I'll have like I have a stronger resume and more time in my hands to get my resume out to other firms.
I love it. So you're going to have a stronger resume, but you're going to have even more than that. You're going to have recommendations because you have done such a great job as part of your internship that I know that the partners there at the VC are going to want to recommend you. That should be a formal ask on your part too, Ryan. So this week, if it's your last week, you need to, and I know you said you set up some time with one of the partners.
Yeah. So one of the partners, she's really good friends with with one of the managing directors at JP Morgan Chase, and she wants me to give my resume to him. And she has a few more bankers she says she wants me to meet. So she's really been helpful in trying to get my resume out.
That's great. That is the next best thing to, well, that is the best thing, is getting sponsors and or people who can recommend you, who are connected, and asking for those connections, and then following up and name dropping. Do not be embarrassed to name drop if it is going to help you secure something that you need. People want to help people that they know. And so if she knows and is connected to individuals, networking is all about utilizing those opportunities to gain access to people that you wouldn't otherwise have a chance to be in front of. All right. So what else? Anything else, Ryan, that we need to know about you or what's going on?
No, that's pretty much been it. That's been my life for the last 8 weeks, is just working and trying to network as much as I can.
Okay. Okay. So for Ryan and Fatia, your elevator pitches are really going to come in handy. And I know you've written them out, but have you been practicing them?
Not as much as I should.
Okay. Fatia, have you?
Yeah, likewise. I haven't been practicing because of the vacation period with folks. But I will get back on it this weekend as I continue to meet with people.
All right. The reason I'm asking you, I'm bringing this back up is because Ryan, you're probably going to start receiving, a lot of feedback from the recommendations that your partner there is putting in for you, and they may happen quickly. You don't want to be caught off guard. So like, even if I've done this before for people where I've had them in my office and I'm like, oh, I know so-and-so who can talk to you. And I've dialed the number right there while you're right there in the room and put you on the phone. So I want you laser focused and ready to go when that opportunity happens. And I remember you telling me before that you were walking down the street and you saw somebody that you really wanted to meet and you didn't know what to say and if you should go up and say anything or introduce yourself. That's why I want you always constantly ready, on point ready. So blow off the dust from those elevator pitches that we worked over a few weeks ago and be ready to sell yourself when you talk to someone new. Okay. Darissa. All right, Darissa, I think we're at the time within the next couple of weeks where you are hoping to have raised $50,000 in capital because you're bootstrapping your Cos Music app venture right now. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. I have been bootstrapping it. And I have raised some money, but I'm nowhere near $50,000. I have quite a bit to go. And to be honest, I really need to lean in more heavy on my friends and family fundraising campaign. I have not done as thorough of a job as I should. So it is something that I do need to kick my gear up all the way on and get out there and get it done. The app is coming along. There are some music development, music production that I'm doing as well to finish it up and to get that part of it complete so that everybody can have their fun theme song. And I'm still looking for grants and pitch competitions to participate in. Thank you so much, Fatia, for sharing one of potential connection and a potential investor in pitch competition that I can reach out to. I appreciate that. And like everybody in the group has just been so helpful. Therese has even reached out to help as well, and she's provided me some different, ideas for where to get some investments. So it's not that I'm at a dearth for anything. It's just that, having staying laser focused on it and really getting it done in addition to building the app is what I've been juggling. So yeah, that's where I am.
It's a lot trying to sell a product while you're building a product in essence, right? So it is a lot. And it's also very easy for any venture that involves being an entrepreneur to get overwhelmed by all of the items that you have to do. So I am suggesting, if you haven't already done this, is identify the top 10 things that have to get done in order for things to move forward. And then maybe just look at how much time you need to allocate to each of those items on a daily basis, or break them down even further and say, today of these 10 items, I'm only going to work on this. Because a lot of times we think that multitasking is, we're in a group, we're multitasking, we're doing all these things at once, where studies have actually shown that you get more done when you just focus on one task. And so if you've got 5 weeks left, or 4 weeks left, or 3 weeks left, and you've got, 3 weeks left and you've got 3 tasks, identify one task a week and just stay laser focused on that. And then here's the bigger thing: ask for help from someone who specializes in that task. There are a lot of freelancers out there who may be able to help with some of them, but raising the money is really very hard. And I think one of the things is that you don't have to go after all like 150 people on your list at once. Why don't you choose, like, these people are more likely to give me $200. And so I'm going after my $200 list just this week.
Okay.
And then maybe next week you go after the $100 people. And maybe the week after that, you go after the $50 people, right? Break it down into your high potentials to those that you think may not. But don't tell them,
Okay.
I'm sure you're not going to necessarily give me any money, but I'm going to ask you for this little $20 anyway. Don't phrase it that way. Ask everybody for the same amount.
Okay.
And say, and give them a choice. I need $500 per person, but please choose any one of these boxes, and give them a choice to choose an amount that they feel comfortable with. And go after the people that you feel most confident will be able to give you money. But if you have a big list and it's taking you time getting all the email addresses together and sending out, like, if that's taking you time, you got to whittle that list down into small bites. How do you eat a pink elephant? One small bite at a time. One small, that's right.
All right. Oh, thank you so much for that, Cheryl. That makes me feel a lot less stressed, because, it is a lot, like you said, to be juggling, trying to drive the car while you're building the car at the same time. That's kind of what I feel like, but it is something that I'm passionate about. I'm living my dream. So that's what's exciting, and that's what's fueling me. And it's about inviting other people along that journey as well. And sometimes it's hard to do for me because I'm just so in my head, and I'm like, I already have the vision, get out of my way, I'm going to get it done. But it's like, no, you need help, and I'm definitely at a place now where I'm like, okay, you really need to focus on the fundraising piece and bringing other people along on the journey, because in the long run, not only will they support you on the app, but they'll also support you beyond that and helping you spread the word, helping you get other people to know about it. So that's kind of, the thing that I have to make sure that I do in addition to, building it out.
Yeah, that is true. And I guess the other thing too is, how are you going about dividing up your tasks? Because sometimes when we get overwhelmed,
Mm-hmm.
we slow down,
Yeah.
and sometimes we just stop. And not saying that you're stopping, but how have you decided to break your task into manageable small bites so you're not feeling overwhelmed?
Actually last night, I created a mind map. And I just
Good.
sat down and I said, okay, this piece needs these things, this piece needs those things, and so on and so on. I have about 4 huge pieces. The first piece, I think I wrote down the founding and the building, like the business part of it. Then I have a fundraising part. Then I have a marketing part, and I forgot the other part. It was one more part that I had, but it's about 4 solid pieces that I know that I need to shoulder up to get Kai's music not only developed, but also earning and attracting the type of audience that I need, as well as investment. So I have sat down and thought through the larger chunks, but I would love to sit down with you and kind of maybe figure out, beyond just, okay, I know I have to fundraise, because on every task list I write, that's like right at the top. But like you said, it's like, okay, how are you making this more manageable, instead of just saying, okay, this is something that I have to do or that I get to do. But, the time that is coming about to get it done keeps, getting overtaken by other things that are going on in my life. So
Yeah, I will set up a time to talk through that too, because it can be a lot. And who have you asked for help?
So I've asked for help from about 5 core people. And we went over this last time, where I basically, was telling them what it was that I was doing, but I hadn't set a specific number for them.
Or not just money, not just fundraising,
Okay.
but who have you asked for help with the overwhelmed stuff that you're working on?
Mhm.
Are you just totally doing all of this by yourself, or do you have friends who do fundraising for a living, and and who have offered some help on how you can do it, or marketing? Have you asked people who do marketing? Like, who have you asked for help, so that you're not just doing everything yourself, or you're learning best practices on how to do these things? Because by trade, you may not be a marketer. By
Mhm.
trade, you may not be a fundraiser. There are people who do these things for a living. Hopefully you know some of them. And even if you don't, who have you just asked for help? Because sometimes we don't ask for help.
Yes, so I do have several sources of help that I've tapped into. The closest source, is my sister. She's a graphic designer, and she lives with me. So she's actually helped me craft some of the graphics that you've seen for my pitch deck, as well as help me with some other things.
Yay for the sister.
Yes, so my sister's there. I'm also involved in a couple of business groups. One of them is called Better with Paul. It's like a business community group, and they are very helpful. And they've helped me with figuring out my email marketing campaign and how to do my sequences. But these are all skills that I'm learning as I go. I'm also involved with SCORE. And I've had several mentor sessions with at least 2 or 3 mentors through SCORE. And as you know, SCORE is a national organization that's focused on small businesses and helping people to develop them. Of course, you through the Pink Couch, and the coach that you hooked me up with, Mohammed, he's been very helpful with figuring out how to break my app down to something more, I think, executable, that I can get done, and get some traction on the app. And then just in terms of other like more specific things on the fundraising piece, I have not had any specific person. One of my ideas is to create what's called a host committee and get a group of people to agree to contribute X amount of dollars to start me off. And then as I go out and recruit for more funding, they'll see I've already raised X amount of dollars. And so the other people will be more likely to give, as well as the people on the host committee could help me to reach out to other people and secure other funding so that I'm not, stuck trying to do all of it on my own. And I have developed that list, but like you said, it's like taking the time to really break these things down and start going after those. It's something that I haven't like really set down and executed on well.
Okay, send me your list.
Okay.
And then we'll set up some time this week to talk as well. I do have a person in mind who may be able to help you with how to make the ask, developing the fundraising strategy, et cetera. Someone who I've been coaching and who's been raising millions of dollars. So yeah, so I'll put you in touch with them.
That would be fabulous. Yes.
Okay. So any other questions that I can help Katia, Ryan, Darissa, that I can help you with this week?
I don't have any questions. Well, I do have a question, but I wanted to share two things that I heard from Darissa that I think may be helpful. So this is the season, I believe, where a lot of people are being nominated for stuff. So for example, if you may want to try like your alma mater, whether it's your high school, graduate school, or your bachelor's program, and write a profile of yourself.
Cool.
So that they send it to the overall body of people. So for my school, they recommended I nominate someone to 30 under 30. So if they have something similar like that in your school, I nominated one of my friends that works in entertainment with some social on Netflix, and I nominated her to be recognized. So I'm wondering if you can nominate yourself or ask someone to nominate you so that you can get your message out, but also add a link to, I'm also looking for funding. And if you would like to sponsor this project, please donate here or find me on LinkedIn or things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I would recommend is if you have any media kits. So I'm remembering of when I used to work in journalism, how a lot of times, a lot of PR folks would send me the media kits of someone that they wanted to be on my host's radio show. So if you have one, I can send you an example of one. But to kind of create like a 30-second audio spot or even something written up, a one-pager to send to your local media outlets, whether it's the radio, whether it's the TV, but someone to identify that can put you on the spotlight. So a lot of times some media outlets have an opportunity for people in the community to be recognized. So two things that came to mind for me.
Thank you so much for those are fabulous ideas. I would love to get more in the earned media space instead of just focusing on social media. So that is something that I will take to heart, and absolutely please send whatever examples you have.
Sure.
Excellent suggestions, Fatia. Thank you for that. Excellent. Ryan, any questions, comments, or anything you have?
Yeah, I was kind of curious. So right now I'm getting a lot of referrals for different like investment banking positions. I'm just curious on like what I should do to follow up with those referrals as far as like, because I applied to 3 positions off referrals so far. So that was like 4 days ago. So I'm just trying to figure out how do I follow up with that.
How do you follow up with the referrals that people have given you?
Yeah, like how do I say like, hey, I was referred to this position by so-and-so, like, can I get a update or status update on my application?
Yeah, use the person's name by saying, dear so-and-so, Ryan Sayer recommended that I chat with you because he has graciously referred me to apply to the analytic, data analyst role at Chase, right? I would really love to have a conversation to discuss this directly with you. I can be reached at, or I can contact you at such and such time. So following up with them, and then just say, like, referred yesterday, like so they know it's top of mind, like they didn't refer you 15 weeks ago or 5 months ago, that yesterday I had a great conversation with so-and-so and they referred me to you. And I would also recommend copying the person who referred you.
Okay.
Because if I referred one of you all and you sent a note to the person that I referred and you copied me on it, more than likely I'm going to say, hey, Darissa, yes, I recommended Ryan for this role. Please, he's a great guy. Please talk with him. So copy the person who did the referring.
Okay. Thank
How
you.
do you feel about that?
Good. Just curious because well, I have another question too, because should I wait for the referral to go in or should I apply for the position first, or does it not matter?
When people have reached out to me before and they always want to know, do you know about this job? And I worked for a company that had like 40,000 employees. So no, I don't know about every job. But what generally happens is generally when you apply for a job, usually, at least at the company where I was, there was a reference number that you received once your application went through.
Oh, okay.
Have you all experienced that or not? So get that, go ahead and apply for the job and get that reference number. And so when you say, I've taken the liberty of applying for the job and receive reference number, blah, 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 that way they can track it back to the hiring manager, or they can ask the person. And if you know who the hiring manager is, any information that you can give them, and I don't know whether you're reaching out to companies that are really large or like small institutions, but the larger the company is, the more you're going to need to give them some information other than the analyst, because there's probably 15 bajillion, gajillion analysts at the companies that you're applying for. They're not going to necessarily know it per se, but if you supply them with that reference information or any information and name drop at the same time, it helps them.
Okay, makes sense.
What was your other question?
That was it.
Oh, okay.
Cheryl,
Yeah.
I just remembered my question.
Okay.
So you mentioned about telling people within our own personal networks about that we're looking for opportunities.
Yes.
I think for me, I'm struggling a bit to how to ask for assistance or ask for help in looking for a job for people within my network or my community, or if it's my family who don't work in my industry. So I think I feel a little bit, I can't think of the word, but I feel a little bit like I'm not sure how to advise them on how they could help me, because they are completely, let's say they're like engineers or they work in a hospital or something like that, but they want to help. I just maybe say no, or I may say, well, if you see anything, just let me know. Is there a particular ask that I should be saying because they do want to help? It's just, I don't know how, because they don't work in my industry, or they don't have.
So I don't work in an engineering industry, but I know engineers. So that's why I don't want you to just loop and lump all people together. Like engineers only know engineers and they don't know people who have MBAs, or actors only know actors or actresses. Yes, it's true that birds of a feather flock together, but they also, I'm related to someone who has worked in investment banking. So they may know a group of people. That's how Ryan and I even found each other. So when you make the ask, be very clear about the kind of industry you want to work for and that you're looking at. I'm looking at entertainment industry, or I'm looking at, broadcast journalism, whatever it is that you're looking at. So could you ask any of your colleagues and or their friends? So your aunt, for example, may work in hospital administration and she may not know anybody, but perhaps her fellow nurse is married to somebody who knows somebody. Case in point, this is a secret and we're not, okay. So I bought a car online as a birthday present for my husband. And it was online at a a dealership in another state. And I don't know anybody who like has a car background. So I called the only person I know there, which is a woman that I used to work with. She's not in, the car industry, but I'm like, girl, can you just go and make sure that the place really does exist and, it's a real place. And she was like, I'm getting on a plane. I can't go, but I can send my assistant. I said, I just want to make sure to verify the place is a legitimate place and that, I'm not being scammed or whatever. Her husband is in the industry. So like, I didn't know that. I just reached out to her. So her husband, the executive assistant's husband, went with her to check out the car. He works on cars for an insurance company for a business. So he knows exactly what to look for. And he went over that car with a fine tooth comb for me. So you never know who knows who. Don't leave out executive assistants, secretaries, security people at your building, at your home building, your office building. You tell everybody because you don't know who knows who. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for that clarity.
And just tell them the kind of role that you're looking for. If you know anybody in this industry, please just have them call me. You'd be surprised. Any other questions? Okay, so I'm going to see you all on our next session. I'm going to talk to a couple of you. Ryan, good luck with your last week of your internship and getting those recommendations. We're going to launch you. Everybody, we're coming toward the finish line. So let's keep it going. Stay in action.
Yes.
Indeed.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Check out the progression of all of our participants at Cheryl's channel of Fabulosity on YouTube, or learn more about the coaching programs and services we offer at IamCherylGrace.com. This has been a Powerful Penny LLC Pink Elephant production.